Hey, you there. Yes, you. Are you tired of boring notebooks? Are you feeling uninspired by the blank pages?
I'll say.
What if I told you you could have any notebook that you could imagine?
Really?
Yes, that's right, my incredulous friend, and for the low, low price of doing it yourself.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and all variations thereupon, today we're going to be making a steampunk notebook.
For the first part of this project, we're going to need to create the pages. To do that, we'll take some pieces of paper, fold them in half, and stitch them together into what's called signatures. We'll have 8 pages per signature, and 3 signatures to make up the text block. Next, clamp the text block between 2 G-clamps, using some cardboard to stabilise it, and draw 4 lines down the spine in order to mark on where we're going to stitch them together. You can use a coping saw to make the holes quickly.
Okay, here's an example of what you do when you don't have the correct tools. You see, I needed a proper jig that could suspend the string and put it taut so that I can sew the string into the back of the signatures and keep them all straight and level. The issue is I didn't have anything purpose built for that, so I've tied string to a spatula and clamped it to the top of this desk, which folds outwards for drawing, and then tied it to the bottom support beam to create at least some tension. That's going to need to be pulled more taut, but that should allow me enough tension so I can sew the string into the back of the signatures.
The technique for sewing the strings on is to first pass the needle through one of the holes, wrap it around the string, and then pass it back through that same hole before moving on to the next hole.
Because everybody knows that the best notebooks always have a little place marker. At this point as well, if you had a lot of signatures in there, you might want to shape the spine, so knock in the bottom and top in order to create a rounded effect. This has only got 3 signatures in it. So in order to further protect the back, I'm just going to put some scrap material over the back of it to protect the spine. And this is just scrap material from a cabbage patch. Cabbage is the historical term for the scrap that you get from the end of your sewing. And now we're starting to get to the more fun parts, namely the leather.
By placing elastic bands around the spine of the book, we can cause the leather to be defined around the strings. Press the cover flat between 2 books. If you lack the philosophy books, then physics will do just as well. And now we trim off the excess leather to get it to the shape of the notebook. Here I've used a leather groover in order to define a border. And then we fill that border with the gilding paste. The gilding paste needs to dry for 20 minutes before you can apply the gilding. As I'm attaching the cogs with contact cement, I'm going to be using disposable gloves to protect my skin. In order to attach the charm, press the needle and thread through the centre of the charm circle as you go in one direction, and on the outside of the circle as you go in the other direction, and move around in a systematic way. And there we have it, but not just a steampunk notebook. Now we have a method for any notebook you could possibly imagine.